It is a stinker. Of course, we're talking about my New York Jets yet again. Atlanta at the Jets. Look, the Atlanta offense was better last week. I wouldn't say it was phenomenal, but against this New York Jets defense that we know is going to be good, is this just a matchup 34 over under? You're just crossing up and saying, I'll leave that one. Let's move on.
Maybe I'm just a sucker for punishment, but I find myself wanting to go back to Bijan Robinson here. He had a career high 27.3 fantasy points last week, which was his first 20-point game since week 2. And it really feels like things have clicked a little for Arthur Smith, but he has to get one of these high draft picks producing. And Bijan Robinson, he's exactly as advertised. He averaged 5.7 yards per carry, 10.7 yards per reception. The receiving touchdown he scored was fantastic. Real high caliber stuff. Drake London had the second most yards of the season, 91. But those are the only two that I view as playable. I don't feel like Kyle Pitts is worth playing in any formats. He's had only 2 games inside the top 14 all year. I know that the Jets sometimes struggle against the tight end position. They give up touchdowns, but I feel like that's one where Kyle Pitts might pop up for a touchdown on one of those kind of rare occasions, but he'll finish for like 2 for 25 and a touchdown or something. On the other side, I mean, yeah, it's miserable. Garrett Wilson's been averaging 63.5 yards per game, 27th among all wide receivers. He's been over 17 PPR points in 4 of his last 6 games. But it just feels really difficult to project him for anything this week. We've talked at points this year where the Falcons can be quite good at taking away a top option. They bring Jesse Bates in to shadow against players. They move, I forget the name of the cornerback, AJ Terrell around to shadow at times. So, and then the Falcons are also good against the run. They've allowed the second fewest fantasy points to the position. Breece Hall, he's averaging 2.6 yards per carry over this last 6 game. He did get a season high 9 targets last week, so perhaps he can get there in the receiving game. But generally speaking, it's Bijan, and that's about it for me this week.
Yeah, I think that there is a world where Breece Hall basically gets heavily used in the passing game and has a good fantasy day, but it is hard to get too excited about any ceiling. He's had a decent run. I think he's had 7 consecutive weeks of 10 plus fantasy points, but there's just not that ceiling at the moment with where this offense is. It's not getting the usage in and around the red zone. He's, sadly, this offense is only converting a first down 58% of drives, which is just worse in the league. It's abysmal. Like, basically, because this offense is completely incompetent, Breece Hall isn't getting the opportunities to show his talent, and he is insanely talented. Another question from Smitty saying, what's the status on Devonta Foreman? Because I've got Khalil Herbert. I don't know.
I don't think I've seen anything new on him. I think maybe a limited in practice, but that's one which I must admit has kind of gone by me. But what we saw with Khalil Herbert last week is it looks like the Bears definitely want Roschon Johnson to be a big part of their offense down the stretch.
Yeah, I think it doesn't even matter if Devonta Foreman isn't active. I think you're struggling to start Khalil Herbert as anything more than probably a flex play, because I think, as you said, it's Roschon Johnson that they want to get utilized. He's a better 3-down back. He's a better profile for that, and that's definitely where they're going.